This is why I know that Mike Tyson let Jake Paul win that boxing match. Alright, here's the truth. Mike Tyson let Jake Paul win that fight, and it absolutely drives me up the wall to even have to explain it. Tyson is 56 years old, way past his prime. And there's no way in the world Tyson couldn't have knocked Jake Paul out in the first round if he actually wanted to. Tyson was a beast in his day, one of the scariest fighters to ever step into the ring. But now he's just in it for the spectacle. Tyson didn't come to that fight to win. He came for the money, the hype, and the business. It's that simple. The guy hasn't fought seriously in over 15 years, so why would he suddenly decide to give it his all against Jake Paul? He didn't. He's not a hungry fighter anymore. He's a businessman. Tyson knew that the longer the fight went, the more money he'd make, and the more hype there would be around the whole event. It's as if Tyson was more interested in keeping the show going than actually finishing the fight. When you watch the fight, it's obvious. Tyson wasn't going for the knockout. He wasn't throwing those devastating combinations that made him famous. He wasn't even putting pressure on Jake like he would have done in his prime. Tyson was just circling, pacing himself, and letting Jake stay in the fight. It's clear as day that Tyson could have ended it at any moment, but he chose not to. Why? Because he didn't want to embarrass Jake. He didn't want to finish it too quickly, because that would have cut the drama short. And that's what frustrates me. Tyson knows Jake is still learning, but instead of showing him how it's done, Tyson gave him just enough room to look like he belonged in the ring. Tyson didn't have to do that. He could have dominated and ended it early, but he didn't. Why? Because Tyson's more interested in making sure the fight looks good for both of them. He didn't care about proving himself anymore. He didn't care about boxing history. He cared about keeping the hype alive for the next fight, for the next paycheck. It's also annoying to hear people talk about how Tyson is some kind of mentor for Jake. Give me a break. Tyson is a legend, and he didn't need to go easy on Jake. But that's exactly what he did. He didn't really fight. He let Jake look like he could compete. Tyson had nothing to prove, and yet he still let Jake walk away with some kind of respect in the eyes of the fans. That's not Tyson. Tyson didn't need to throw the fight, but he sure didn't try to win it with any real intensity. What bothers me the most is that Tyson's legacy is built on being a dominant force in the ring. He made a name for himself because he was relentless. But now, here he is, letting a guy who's still learning the basics of boxing look like he can hang with one of the greatest ever. Tyson could have wiped the floor with Jake, but instead, he chose to keep the fight close, keep it interesting, all for the sake of the spectacle. It's disrespectful to the sport and to the fans who remember what Tyson was actually capable of. Tyson didn't actively lose, but he sure didn't try to win either. He let Jake look decent for the cameras, and that's what annoys me the most. He could have ended the fight whenever he wanted, but instead, he dragged it out for the money. That's not what boxing's about. It's not what Tyson's legacy should be about. If you agree with me, hit the subscribe button.